Directed by Mark Webb, 500 Days of Summer tells a unique story in an incredibly unique way. Before we get to that though, let's talk about the general production values. The film's use of music is absolutely incredible, with it at times even feeling like I was watching a musical with how well integrated the music was into each scene. The cinematography is also distinct and really brings to the forefront the uniqueness of the narrative. In its own words, this is the story of a boy meeting a girl, but it doesn't unfold in the manner you would hope or expect. This story uses two writing tricks in order to get its message across and to engage the viewer in a way most films cannot, those being dramatic irony and nonlinear storytelling. First off, dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is when the audience knows something the characters do not. From the opening of the film, the narrator makes us aware of these characters' upbringing and motivations. While I'm usually a fan of the concept of show, don't tell, and storytelling, I feel the use of a narrator makes sense for this story. The plot is fast-paced, and opening the first 10 to 20 minutes of the movie educating us on these characters' upbringings would simply serve to pad runtime. That being said, I feel at certain points the narrator gets in the way more than he enhances certain scenes, especially late in the film. Back to dramatic irony though, what is it that we, the audience, know that the characters don't? Well, we already know from the title of the film that this relationship only lasts 500 days. We also know that they eventually break up at a restaurant. The film makes us feel like we know everything, so when we are given a piece of information that is not entirely truthful, we are more likely to trust it implicitly and believe this story has a happy ending. All of this is possible due to the second trick mentioned, nonlinear storytelling. The piece of information alluded to earlier of course refers to the snapshot in the opening, to day 488, where it looks like our hero has succeeded in his goal. This misdirection is caused by the aforementioned nonlinear storytelling. The movie allows us to see things from Tom's perspective at multiple instances. We are presented with a dilemma, for example, day 282, and then presented with context for the situation, in this case, that being day 34. We see that even in what are seen as happy memories by Tom, there are already cracks forming in this concept of love that he holds so dear, cracks that make themselves evident as the film goes on. Summer is pretty straightforward about what she wants. She likes Tom, but she doesn't love him. She does her best not to lead him on and tries to be clear about what she does and doesn't expect from this relationship. That doesn't work for Tom though. He is a hopeless romantic, and instead of either listening and respecting Summer's decision or ending the relationship, he chooses to treat her boundaries as a possibility, a puzzle to be solved, and in doing so, he only hurts himself. Throughout a majority of this film, if there had to be a villain, it would be Tom and his own delusions. In what is mostly treated as a bit, we are quite literally shown Tom's unrealistic expectations versus the reality of his situation. In another bit of narration, and most likely dramatic irony, we are plainly told that Tom believes he won't be happy unless he finds the one. The reason I say dramatic irony is that this may or may not be something he knows about himself, a positively destructive mindset that keeps him from reaching his full potential or goals. He puts up with his job and situation because he believes there's no point in striving for more if that isn't the key to his happiness anyway. Okay, so if Tom is the villain, naturally that begs the question, who is the hero? Well, that would be the titular character, Summer. As the hero, she contends with Tom's aforementioned destructive mindset. She sees Tom's potential as an architect and wants to see him achieve that. She repeatedly encourages him to take a chance on his talent, and she even appears genuinely hurt when he makes fun of his career choice. Interestingly enough though, she is now the only thing standing between Tom and his talent. Tom gives up everything for her. His love life, happiness, and goals, just to name a few things. But she never asked him to do that, just the opposite in fact. However, he gives it up anyway and loses himself in the process. It's only after it's over and he's reviewed the relationship, looking over both the good and the bad, that he finds himself again. The following montage is by far the most powerful scene in the film in my eyes, a triumphant return for who is now the hero of his own story. And funnily enough, 1 hour and 20 minutes into the film, this is the first we as an audience see of this hero, because for as long as we've known him, his ambitions haven't been set in the right places. 500 Days of Summer isn't a love story, but it also isn't a tragic film. It's a journey of self-discovery. The nuance of this film is something you won't find in your common romance. I truly believe it is something special, and I really respect the writers' and directors' intent and efforts here. Its themes are something I believe everyone can learn a little something from, and as a whole, it is something that will stick with me for years to come.